Let's get ready for Dumbo!
Hello and welcome to the Disney Do-Over podcast. I'm Jill.
And I'm Annabeth.
And today, as you can tell, we're talking about Dumbo.
We sound so excited.
Uh-huh.
This was our Doctor Strange, wasn't it?
I don't
was the Jungle Book before? I think we have lots of
remember
Doctor Stranges.
when we recorded Beauty and the Beast, but I know
Long
we
time
recorded
ago.
the one before that, right before Halloween.
Oh, gosh.
So it's been almost a year. You don't need to know that, audience. They're coming out in a timely manner.
Totally. Yeah, so...
Today we're talking about Dumbo. The animated one came out in 1941.
Yes, 1941.
And then the new one was last year, right?
It was last year, which feels like a long time ago.
Which is 2019.
Yeah,
for those who know.
2019 is when Dumbo came out. It seems like ages ago because, well, first of all, we're living in a hellscape that... We won't go into that. It also feels like it came out a long time ago because 2019 saw the release of 4 Disney live-action remakes and a sequel, if you count
That's
Maleficent 2. That is a lot. So they kicked off the year in March with the Dumbo remake. Then in May, they released Aladdin. In July, they released The Lion King. So 2 really big ones for the summer box office. And then in October, they released Lady and the Tramp on Disney+. No, wait. In October, they released Maleficent 2, Mistress of Evil, which is in the same vein.
That
We
was
totally
last year?
have skipped Maleficent and need to go back to it because that's a really good movie, even though it's not a direct remake. But anyway.
We're doing the direct remix first.
I know. Oh, and then in November, that's when they did Lady and the Tramp. So there were technically 4, maybe 5 if you count Maleficent 2, in this same vein of Disney remakes that were released in 2019. So it was a lot. They packed in a lot.
So I try and do fun facts for every movie. So the 1941 fun fact. Did you know apparently it was going to be on Time magazine cover as a Mammal of the Year.
Mammal of the Year.
And then Pearl Harbor happened. So they were like, nah, never mind.
Right? They were just like, we got more important things to report on, I guess.
And then Baby Mine was nominated for an Academy Award. The studio was kind of told specifically to make Dumbo as cheaply as possible, which is why the characters are so simple, the background's so not detailed.
Yeah, they did the background with watercolors, which is something...
Isn't that common? Or am I just thinking about Lilo and Stitch?
Actually, I was just reading about that. Apparently it wasn't that common, but Lilo and Stitch is another notable example.
Okay. I think I know the most about the animation from Lilo and Stitch. That's why I would know that.
Why do you know so much about the animation of Lilo and Stitch? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I have the DVD, and one day I just started watching all of the features. This is why I got obsessed with Hula for a little bit, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yay, Merry Monarch!
Chills hula face.
And then for the 2019 Dumbo, the fun fact that I have, it was not well received by critics and audience alike. That's the only thing interesting I could find.
That's a fun fact.
I mean,
I have a fun fact about...
You go!
Yeah, I have a fun fact about the 2019 Dumbo. It's a movie.
It is.
Directed by Tim Burton, in which Danny DeVito plays the ringmaster of a circus. Much like the movie Big Fish, which is directed by Tim Burton, in which Danny DeVito plays the ringmaster of a circus.
I don't know how I went into this movie not knowing that Danny DeVito was in it, but I didn't. I didn't know he was in it.
I forgot he was in it also. Even when I was like, oh yeah, I need to watch Dumbo, and I also need to watch Big Fish, because it's Tim Burton's other circus movie. I forgot Danny DeVito is the ringmaster of the circus in both.
Not as good as Hugh Jackman.
Is anyone?
So let's get into some movie talk, I guess.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
I remember thinking in the beginning of the animated one, just looking at the rain and liking it, and wondering if it was hard to animate.
I also noticed the rain. At first it looked really real, and I was like, whoa, it's raining. I don't know.
Because I remember, because we watched, or when I watched Weathering with You, they had a whole, side thing outside the movie, the director was talking about it, and they were, going on about animating rain. Because if you didn't know, Weathering with You, it's mostly rain. It's very impressive, so I was just wondering what it was like back in 1941, and whether they had, some kind of process for doing it, or what. But it looked good.
Yeah, that's funny. I feel like the rain was very striking, because we both have a note about how cool the rain looked.
That and the train in the beginning really just gave me Steamboat Willie vibes. Like, going old school Disney.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, did you know the train was saying, I think I can, I think I can?
Uh-huh.
I
liked that.
I had to pause and rewind. It's like, no, it's not saying that. I put on subtitles just to make sure.
No, it definitely said that.
It's definitely saying
Little Casey Jr. is the train's name. I don't know why it's named that. I feel like there's a reason, but I didn't find
that. Oh, the other
anything
thing I
about
forgot to
that.
look up was when, I'm assuming this movie came out after Jumbo was alive. The actual elephant Jumbo.
Oh.
Let me look that up really quick.
You should look that up because I don't really know anything about Jumbo the elephant.
He
Wait, is he the...
The really, really, really big elephant.
Okay, I mean, you know, that seems like it would be a thing because the elephant's name is Mrs. Jumbo and then Dumbo's real name is...
Definitely after. It's
Jumbo
1865.
Okay, so we're just talking about the movie right now.
Mm-hmm. Any standout things you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the storks.
Okay.
I very much want to talk about the storks and their creepy song that includes lyrics like, "Don't try to get away, he'll find you in the end." I love how ominous the storks dropping off babies scene was.
I didn't get ominous at all.
Don't try to get away, he'll find you in the end? That's so
You know
dumb.
me, sometimes I don't listen to lyrics.
Oh yeah, Jill doesn't understand words when they're being sung. I forgot.
But yeah, I didn't realize that was... Especially back in, like, the 1940s song. Like, I don't always know what they're saying.
Oh, another line was, "When he comes around, it's useless to resist."
Damn. They really know what people are thinking when they got babies.
Yep, absolutely. Also, I liked...
Especially because that's not the vibe that you would get from, like, Miss Jumbo just really wanting a kid.
Uh-huh, I know. Like, all the animals looked so happy. Also, I mean, spoiler alert, I didn't super love this movie.
No,
but
me neither.
I really loved the baby animals. They were just so cute.
They were really cute.
They were so cute. But, Hey Science?
Yeah?
We should include that as a segment. Hey Science,
New
where I ask you,
New segment, Hey Science.
hey Science,
What's up?
do hippos sleep underwater? Like, fully submerged. That's not a thing that hippos can do because they're mammals.
Yeah, they need to breathe.
Not in Dumbo!
They might, like...
I'm pretty sure
and they can definitely hold their breath for a long time. Also gave birth underwater, I'm guessing.
It didn't give birth. The stork came.
That's what giving birth is, obviously, for all the kids watching.
Right, of course. The stork comes. And there's one very efficient stork that does his job so much better than all other storks that he sings you happy birthday and the other ones just drop the babies from the
Well, at
sky.
least they get there on time.
Yeah, that's true. I guess he's late because he's just so above and beyond in his job. Also voiced by Winnie the Pooh.
I didn't know that this time.
He's everywhere.
Normally, he's very apparent.
Sterling Holloway. Sterling Holloway, the voice of Winnie the Pooh and Kaa the Snake from Jungle Book and a million other things, also voiced the stork. What else can we talk about with this movie?
They called Dumbo, for one thing.
They-
Rude. His name's Jumbo Jr.
Well, I mean, yeah, they did call him Dumbo.
Everybody calls him Dumbo. I
Yeah.
don't like it. They're so mean to this day-old child.
I know. And he's such a cute little elephant, too. Like, the animation in this movie is very cute. Little baby animals everywhere. Yeah, and the kids are so mean to him, too.
The elephants
The
are so mean.
elephants are super mean to him.
So bitchy.
And they really are.
God, I hated them so much.
Bunch of Karen elephants.
But, like, I
They're
both
so mean.
truly hated them from the bottom of my heart, but also, in a dark way, really liked them, because I thought that was if they wanted to go deeper with, like, hating somebody for no reason, they were a great example of that.
Yeah.
And, like, they, like, played the victim, and, like, oh, how could she attack you? That's so, like, unladylike, when you were definitely just attacking her kid verbally.
Right? Yeah, the elephants were very catty.
But, like, I think they were well portrayed.
Yeah, no, that was a good move. I liked the way they were portrayed, like you said, because they were very annoying and, like, just gossiping, spilling the tea, being really mean, but, like, as a group, you know? They're like the catty girls in high school kind of thing. Or, like, the mommy group that doesn't like this one.
I would say they're a lot more like the mommy group, or just a group of Southern ladies that like look down on people but think they're being good somehow.
Right, yeah. The ones that are like, oh, I'm so dignified.
I only say Southern because I live in the South, so that's the stereotype we're used to.
Yeah, we live here, we can say that.
Also, back to the Dumbo thing. The mouse, Timothy, isn't it?
Timothy!
At one point, he says, I'm still your friend. He calls him Dumbo, too. At least call him by his name. That's really rude.
Yeah, but Timothy the mouse is the best character.
I disagree. I mean, I don't think he's a very nice person either.
Aww.
I don't think anyone in this movie is very nice.
Well, yeah, except
Dumbo.
Except
and
for
his
Dumbo
mom.
and his mom.
And the crows are mostly fine, I guess.
The crows! We'll talk about the crows in a minute.
Yeah.
Actually, we could just go ahead and talk about the crows if you want.
I mean, we talked about the animation for a second already, right? Because I just wanted to say how much you said you loved the baby animals.
Mm-hmm.
I just loved the animation choices in general during the drop-off stuff, or whatever scene. No, it was later scene. Like, literally, the kangaroo sounds like a rocking chair, and the hyenas are, like, laughing in their sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I just liked that
That's
choice.
really cute.
And I also liked that Dumbo would hold the mouse's tail. Like, I thought all those
that
little
was
details
so
are really cute.
Yes, I love that he held hands with Timothy the
Yeah.
mouse, except it was trunk and tail.
Mhm.
And it was just the cute thing about, like, oh, elephants are scared of mice, and then the elephant and the mouse are friends, and...
The mouse is definitely just using Dumbo.
He was,
I
but
never
he
got any
was-
vibe that he actually cared about him at
I
all.
think he felt bad for him and wanted him to be happy, but he also saw an angle there. I liked the mouse.
I mostly got the angle bit from him.
Aw, I think he cared, though. I think he was a nice mouse.
Maybe in the way that, like, some people think they're doing good, but ultimately they're very selfish at heart.
Yeah, I mean, he does come off like a bit of a shyster.
Mm-hmm.
But I like him.
Well, you like mice. So
I
that's
love
not a
mice.
surprise.
Yeah, I was like, one of my notes literally says, the mouse is, unsurprisingly, my favorite character.
Mm.
Always. He had a little hat and a little jacket.
Mhm.
Give me an anthropomorphic mouse dressed up in cute clothes, and I'm there.
Mm.
But yeah, let's talk about the crows, I guess. You want to talk
Sure.
about the crows?
We definitely can talk about him, I guess. I don't
I mean,
have that much to
you
say.
know, there's really nothing to say about the crows.
I mean, we're not trying to, like, say anything by saying there's nothing to talk about the crows. I don't think we personally have anything to talk about
It's
with the
just-
crows.
It was made in 1941.
Yeah.
And, okay, so you know the crow that's called Jim Crow?
Mhm.
Apparently that's from the production notes and was never actually called that in the movie.
Mm.
So I
You know
learned
he was
that
played
when I
by
was...
a white guy?
All the crows were, yeah.
No, I thought only the quote unquote Jim Crow was the white guy,
Oh,
and the other,
maybe.
the backup choir was actually
Oh,
like a
yeah.
bunch of black singers.
Maybe. Also, everyone talks about the crows as far as, like, the whole Dumbo is racist discourse. Also, the guys working on the train singing a song about having never learned to read or write.
Again, I didn't listen to song lyrics, so I didn't catch that.
Oh, yeah. That song
I
was
actually
real
did think
interesting.
about the opening. Was like, okay, what do I think about this portrayal? And my only thought was, well, I mean, what can I really say about it? They're just, I'm guessing, in the 19 or whenever this is like set,
Yeah.
they probably would have been the workers there.
Yeah.
Or you can think about it like they're just kind of supposed to be faceless people. Doesn't really matter what they're supposed to look like. They're just these figures that are putting up tents.
Yeah, I
I don't
did
know.
think about that. Like, they're faceless. They're singing about working like slaves, being illiterate, and saying yes, sir, to the boss man.
Yeah, don't take anything I have to say with any credit because I don't listen to lyrics.
So, I mean, obviously, there's really not a lot to say about the racial portrayals in Dumbo, because we all know that they're not great.
Yeah.
But it was 1941, so, I mean, that's
least
why
it's-
that's like that.
At least it's not like Song of the South or anything. it's not that much.
Yeah,
I guess. It's mostly animals. Speaking of, because I did really like that for the most part, you don't see people on screen.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, you do, because the clowns are on screen and everything.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if they're having speaking lines, they're all behind a tarp, and it's just the silhouettes.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was really cool for an animal-focused movie.
Yeah, that was cool. I liked the silhouette thing, too, except sometimes it looked like they were taking off their clothes behind the silhouette.
Well, they definitely were taking
and
off
I
their
was
clothes.
just like, why are they stripping? Why are we watching them strip?
The first scene where the guy was taking off his clothes was very like, what is going on right now?
Uh-huh. Oh, did you see the thing about how the silhouettes of the clowns were supposed to look like the animators that went on strike during the animation strike thing?
Yeah.
And they made them the clowns and they were singing about asking the boss for a raise.
I saw that.
That was interesting.
I didn't look into it because I was like, okay, that's kind of weird.
I thought that was an interesting tidbit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dumbo. Let's see. Is there anything else I wrote down about this movie?
Honestly, I wrote down stuff, but it's not a lot of stuff. Dumbo is a very simple movie.
It is. It's very simple. There's not a lot of story. There's not a lot of conflict. I mean, I guess there is conflict, but it's basically everyone's mean to Dumbo.
Mm-hmm.
And then he shows them that he's useful for something when he flies. Also, the resolution is he needs to fly, and then he just does. Yeah.
So I guess that's what we could talk about, is just the possible failings as a movie that this is.
Yeah.
It's a fairly decent kids cartoon if you cut out like maybe 30 minutes of it.
Right. Just cut out all the racist parts. Cut out
most of it.
Most of
Not like saying it's bad, just it's
just
mostly there for like the fun visuals.
It could be like a 30-minute cartoon, and it wouldn't really lose anything.
Not really.
And, yeah, it obviously hasn't aged well in terms of, like, racism. It hasn't, like, become a classic of Disney history. I mean, it's a classic, but it's not, like, a beloved classic.
No.
I'm just bewildered at the choice to remake this, honestly.
Yeah.
Because the same year they did Aladdin and The Lion King, and they're like, and you know what else people love? Dumbo.
Well, I don't think it's a bad candidate for doing a redo of.
Right. And see,
it's not one that you'd want to, like, do kind of more what they did for Lion King or Cinderella, or where they're trying to literally remake the story with maybe some additions. This one, there's so little to it.
That's actually a really good candidate for a remake.
So
you're right.
They could have, like, made this into a really cool story.
Yeah, as far as popularity is what I'm saying, and, like, how well it's aged, not a great candidate, but for, like, let's have the bones of a story and completely make something new out of it, yeah, it's a pretty good candidate for a remake. Okay, one more thing. I mean, I don't know if you have anything else to talk about with Dumbo, the 1941 movie, but I wanted to talk about the pink elephant scene.
Yeah, we should. It's a very iconic part of the movie.
The best scene in the thing is so artistic.
It's got heffalumps and woozles vibes.
Absolutely, that's what I was thinking too. And like the sound of the song and the visuals and everything. It might trigger a seizure, so be careful.
I was thinking, like, I thought it was really cool. I thought it's really, maybe it's because I was a Winnie the Pooh kid, but to me it's very easy to like lean into it eliciting fear response. Not like deep fear, but like it's slightly off-putting.
It is Nathan's anti-drug.
But like, I don't know. To me, it's kind of like that really weird, maybe a little ominous, but also just really cool that they could do it. This movie also came out after Fantasia.
Yeah,
so
it was.
I did think it definitely like came from some of that.
Yeah, apparently Fantasia lost some money, so they had to crank out Dumbo to recoup their losses there.
Yeah, which is such a shame, because Fantasia's awesome.
And the pink elephants part of Dumbo is also awesome. But it's, I would say, definitely the best part of the movie. The most
so just
artistic.
Go get your toddler drunk,
Yeah.
and that's the lesson you learn from the movie.
Also, like, why are we not allowed to be drunk in kids' movies anymore? I mean, I think it always ends well.
Because the new Dumbo clearly said, don't give
no
babies...
booze for the baby.
Yes, exactly.
It's great.
I mean, they even watered it down for him. He's fine. I'm really curious what was in that, though, that he's seeing hallucinations.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, this isn't just booze.
But yeah, just some champagne. Why are you seeing pink elephants?
Right? Oh, also, I gave this a +2 cat score because it has lions and tigers, including baby ones. So it got some cat score.
Two?
Just two.
Just two. Okay.
Because they weren't a prominent feature.
No, they were
but
not.
they were there, so it gets at least 2 cat points. Because the points don't matter.
Right. Don't forget to give your cat score for the other movie, too.
Right. Well, okay, spoiler alert. That cat score is 0 because it didn't have any cats.
It didn't, did it?
I didn't see a tiger.
I
didn't
don't recall
see a lion.
seeing... Yeah, you're right. I didn't see any cats in that movie.
It had no cats. Okay, Dumbo 2019 gets a 0 for cat score. It was disappointingly lacking in cats.
Is that going to be our segue into talking about...
Now let's talk about it.
It sucked.
Whoa. That was a strong response.
I mean, I don't think it wasn't without, like, merit and having some good things in it, but I think overall as a movie, it was really, really bad.
Like, worse than the 1941 Dumbo?
In very different ways, it was really bad. Like, it was just dumb.
Dumbo.
Did you like it?
Please explain your hatred. There's just so much of it you can't really quantify.
I mean, because it's not like there are some things that, like, if you could see potential in it. To have come from a blank slate that was the original Dumbo. Having some things that are kind of cool in it. But mostly it was just really dumb. Like, all the choices are really dumb. The acting wasn't that great either. The girl really annoyed me.
So, to backtrack a little and kind of fill in the gaps, basically, the plot of the 2019 remake of Dumbo, well, anything you know from the 1941 Dumbo happened 40 minutes in or less, and then it's just like, oh, surprise, where's the rest of this movie going?
I think it was like 50 minutes in, because I looked at, like, how much of this movie is left? Oh god, it's another hour long.
Yeah, I did keep checking. Okay, so the original Dumbo is an hour and like 3 or 4 minutes. 2019 Dumbo doubles the length of the movie. It is 2 hours long. They added a whole hour of movie. Really an hour and 20 minutes of movie, because like I said, everything in the 1941 Dumbo happens in the first 40 minutes of the 2019 remake. So basically the difference is, instead of focusing on Dumbo as a character, well, I mean, was he ever really that prominent of a character? He never had any speaking lines in either.
It's a very fair point.
But in the remake, it focuses on this family who are part of the circus. The dad, played by Colin Farrell, returns from World War I. He's lost an arm. He used to be a trick rider in the circus, and now he is demoted. He has 2 children. The mother is dead because Disney. And his little girl wants to be a scientist. She's the token new Disney girl, and the boy is forgotten.
Small interjection. I think, yes, the mom is dead because Disney, but also mom is dead because we need some romance up in this film. So kill off the mom, give him a new girl.
That's accurate.
My first note for this movie is it wasn't even a full minute into the movie and I already hated the CGI.
Oh.
Which was a little unfair because I don't think it was necessarily like the actual skill at the people making stuff. I think it was the design that I just hated. It just looked fake and terrible. Because like how they did the elephants was great. Like the mom looked awesome. She was like this nice mix between like, I mean, she wasn't that emotive because she was just like a basic elephant. But she wasn't real, right? She was all fake. That's actually probably something I should have looked up. But like the mom elephant and all the other elephants looked like elephants, and they did a good job. Dumbo is his own story. We're gonna come back to Dumbo. Everything just looked off kilter and like not like this kind of place stuff on top of another film reel kind of thing.
Are you talking about like
literally the opening shot of the movie? Because it was under a minute.
The train is going.
The train, actually, I liked. But yes, also when the train was going, it didn't look real either.
Also, just to interject, I mean, I know the actual story in the remake takes place in Joplin, Missouri, but it starts out in Sarasota, Florida in 1919, and the animated one also started in Florida, and I just like that it's set in Florida, or at least it starts out in Florida, because Disney World. That's what it made me think of. I was like, are they going to Orlando on this train?
Like, what I didn't like about it was just the I guess, bad CGI where it all looked kind of fake. I liked the design choices in that because I liked that they were basically copying the train, not like copying, they were redoing the train scene from the animated one in a pretty nice way.
Mm-hmm.
I liked like that you got to see the train with a smiley face and you got to see the map, which whether or not it's a good choice in general, they were like paying homage to Dumbo, and I think that wasn't like bad. I thought it was kind of cool.
I did not like the face on the train in the remake. I did not like his face.
I thought it was kind of cool, but we can disagree.
I like that it had a face, I guess, because that's what it was in the cartoon, but I did not like the way the face looked. It disturbed me for some reason.
But yeah, I didn't like, so when French Girl is flying on Dumbo, that looked super fake. A lot of it just looked really fake in a kind of an irksome way.
Are you talking fake, like, because I have a thing about the Disney remakes that I don't like their overall look sometimes about how they feel like they are Disney World.
Different kind of fake.
Okay, different kind of fake. Then I don't need to get
like
into
literally
Disney
just
World.
like you can, I don't know, times has progressed, so we kind of expect a lot out of CGI sometimes. Like back 20 years ago or 10 years ago, your expectations are a little bit lower, but now Lion King has come out, so you're expecting a lot.
Hey, this came out before The Lion King.
It's true.
So, yeah, a whole,
But,
4 months or so before The Lion King.
It's a weird mix, because, like, when she's, like, flying on Dumbo, that looked really bad. But Dumbo himself, as far as, like... Actually, come back to Dumbo. The way Dumbo would move looked fine.
Okay.
Let's just go ahead and talk about Dumbo.
Please, tell me.
I don't know, as I don't think it's bad. There's just a lot of things wrong with him. First, there are Asian elephants.
Uh-huh.
He is definitely modeled after an African elephant, so that's interesting.
Oh.
But I think that's not the problem, because it's not so much a problem. It's just the problem with Dumbo is not that he has big ears. He's definitely got like some kind of massive brain tumor or something, because his head is way too big. He does not look like a healthy baby elephant. It's not just the ears. He is not a normal looking elephant by any means. He is, however, adorable, and I would kill for him.
Oh, that's so cute. He is adorable, and I would kill for him.
Because that was a lot of the movie. A lot of this movie for me was just I didn't like most of it, and I was just thinking mostly the movie is a way to make me angry and want to kill everything that's making Dumbo sad. Because the movie just keeps making Dumbo sad. Granted, the movie Dumbo is about Dumbo being sad, so they didn't do anything wrong there.
I don't even know where to start. Dumbo, the animation of the character of Dumbo does look like real elephants gave birth to a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like a weird hybrid, but he's so cute.
He's incredibly cute, and I love him. He's not normal, but
it's okay.
That's
don't
okay.
Make fun of him.
I would never make fun of Dumbo. He's too cute. He's also like a day old, and how dare you yell at a newborn for anything?
Oh,
I just wanted to
know.
kill everyone.
He's so precious. Also, I don't know how I feel about it, but I just want to point out that you were saying in the 1941, like, oh, everyone's so mean they call him Dumbo, that's not his name. And in the new one, the little forgotten boy, who is, like, clearly not important as much as the girl, but he says something. He's like, oh, if we call him Jumbo Jr., he'll probably miss his mom more, so we should just call him Dumbo. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was sweet. Also, I liked the little boy, and I felt so bad for him just being in the shadow of his dumb science sister the whole time.
I mean, I liked that name thing, and they do actually call him Jumbo Jr. later in the film, so I was pro that regard to the movie.
Yeah.
Also, when I was watching this movie, I really missed the animation just gets to do grand things. We talked about this in Cinderella with, like, the grand ballroom. Mm-hmm. This one has the grand circus tent. Well, not the live action one. The animated one has a grand circus tent, and by comparison, this one looks puny and sad. Granted, I think it's supposed to look puny and sad, but it still looks puny and sad.
But I really like the circus in general in the live action one, because all we really got in the animated one, I mean, it was much more from the animals' perspective, so I like what you said about you don't really see the humans that much, and when you do get the humans, it's like the mean ringmaster, the mean kids, and the annoying clowns. And in this one, the circus people are so fun and so great, and they're more like characters. I freaking love the mermaid lady. I would die for the mermaid lady.
Cool.
She's so funny.
Sure.
Like the scene where she's the decoy when they're trying to help them escape. And she's just like, oh, the sea. I don't know. I loved the mermaid lady. I thought she was hilarious. I don't know why she got the song Baby Mine. I guess they just needed someone to strum a ukulele and sing it. But
Okay, so two things. One, I did watch some other videos where they were giving their takes on this movie, and they also praised the circus family. I don't know if it's because I already didn't like this movie, but not that I didn't like them, I just didn't care at all about any of them.
Not even Danny DeVito?
Especially not Danny DeVito.
He was my favorite.
I don't like Danny DeVito. Like,
No!
not like, I don't mean to be mean about Danny DeVito, I just don't care about him.
But he's
And I
Danny DeVito.
didn't care about the vast majority of any human character in this entire thing. I just didn't feel like I had any reason to care.
Okay.
But to Baby Mine, one, I thought it was way prettier sung, because, I mean, I don't know, it's more modern, so I kind of liked it. Not like modern, but it didn't sound like the 1940s.
Yeah.
And two, it just was so wasted.
Yeah, it was just out of nowhere.
It was out of nowhere. There was no emotional pull, like, for me.
To me, even the actress singing it looked confused about why she was singing it. She looked vaguely uncomfortable and confused. Which made me like her even more, because that was the mermaid actress.
Okay, I mean,
but
that's good that you got
just
that.
Like,
I just got that she...
Baby mine, why am I singing?
Oh, I did. Okay, I didn't like anybody except, but I did like the strong man.
Yes!
The strong man.
The Strongo!
He was cool. I liked him.
He was so great. I love that he was like the strong man, also the accountant.
Yeah.
He just like did everything for this broke circus that has
He didn't
no
really
money.
want to,
He
but
had to
he
do
just
all
was
the
expected
jobs.
to.
I did wonder about like representation because okay, he's the only black character in a movie that's a remake of a not good
He's not
racial...
the only non-white person though.
No, he's not. But just like since all the racist stuff was about black people in the original Dumbo, I was like, I wonder about representation in this movie. And I don't know, because he was like, hold on, I made a note. I was thinking about this. He's like mostly silent and physically strong, which is our stereotype of like black men in media. But also he was more because he was like doing all the jobs. He was very, very funny. And so I don't know if they got the representation exactly spot on, but it was definitely better because it wasn't like overtly racist like 1941 Dumbo. But also he was like one of the best characters because he was just like, he was just really funny, just the subtlety of his humor and his facial expressions.
I agree, he was probably the best character. It's not like the movie couldn't have had, more. That wouldn't have hurt anything either.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But just as far as like...
But yeah, he was the
him
best.
as a character, I thought he was great. But I thought a lot of the circus characters were great.
I didn't really care, but I didn't hate him.
I love Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito, if you're listening, I love you. He's not.
Due to some of my friends, I can't think of you not covered in hand sanitizer, so...
What? Oh, no. We don't think of him that way.
I would very much not like to.
Also, because I've also seen the movie Big Fish, where he's also the ringmaster of a circus, I liked him better in this one. He was more, he was kind of the Timothy the Mouse of this movie. More so than the ringmaster from the circus in Dumbo. Sidetrack, but in Big Fish, he's a very southern-sounding ringmaster, and it just... I like this ringmaster interpretation of Danny DeVito better. But what I'm saying about Timothy the Mouse, he's got an angle. He's a very, like, industrious kind of... I don't know. I feel like Danny DeVito is like a mix of the typical ringmaster, but also the Timothy the Mouse, but also just Danny DeVito. And I think it works.
I don't care.
Jill doesn't care about any of the humans. So let's talk about some more of the humans. Let's talk about the main characters.
Can I just interject one thing?
Please do.
I know it's Disney, but I was really sad the mom didn't actually get to kill somebody. Because she got to inadvertently cause the death of somebody, but I wanted outright righteous anger, and the guy that died should have just been straight up killed by him.
Oh my gosh. The guy that died, so...
That's another reason I didn't like the movie, because it was just, like, absurd. Like, here's an early villain that you're just supposed to hate and shouldn't have any reason to act the way he's acting. It was dumb.
Yeah, no, I agree. So he was like a mean circus dude, like the only dude in the circus who wasn't super nice and great. And he gets killed early on in the movie. And I remember thinking like, well, this is too good to be true. They just killed off the only guy who's very just annoying. I was like, we're actually rid of him toward the beginning of the movie. What luck. So that was nice. I liked that he died early on. Although
I was
he
really sad the mom didn't get to outright kill him.
Well, it's
because
Disney.
he deserved it.
She
and
can't be
it
a
would
murderer.
make more sense. I mean, I know in the animated one she gets locked away for being a mad elephant for just spanking a kid.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like there should have been even more angry elephant.
Yeah. I liked that instead of her just being locked away for the whole movie, they actually sell her to another circus or whatever, and it creates an actual problem because Dumbo's mom is actually taken away from him instead of just, she's over there, but you can't visit her.
It makes an actual problem that shouldn't have happened in the first place and should have been solved very quickly. That just wasn't, for no reason. And they also decide to try and kill her for no reason.
Yeah, they do decide to try and kill her for absolutely no reason.
The actual evil characters later on,
oh gosh.
they could have solved their own problems by just buying the mom, but they didn't. They decided to kill her because they're evil in a very non-subtle, non-interesting way.
But, I mean, they did buy the mom. They had the mom.
To kill her.
Well, yeah.
They did not intend, like, they were going to solve their problem by having Happy Baby that will fly around for them because he has his mom back.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even that they had to buy the mom. They already had the mom.
I thought she was owned by somebody else.
No, that
Are you
was...
sure?
No, because, okay, so the
Because
villains...
I don't think Nightmare Island is part of Dreamland.
It is, though. It's another park within his empire.
I guess.
Can we talk about that?
Sure.
We should talk about that. Okay, so the villain of this movie is played by Michael Keaton, and he plays evil Walt Disney, basically. Like, it was so weird because he's like a theme park owner. He's very charismatic. He loves making dreams come true and making lots of money. And I don't know what they were going for there.
I think it's the same kind of humor that has them in Lion King, making fun of It's a Small World.
But it's not like a one-off joke. It's like, he is the villain.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone's gonna take that with any kind of seriousness. I think they're just like, it's a funny joke.
I guess.
And Disney owns us all. We're making
Just-
a podcast about them in a very positive, negative light.
That's true. We are.
It's made by Disney. I don't think they would have any fear of being the villains in this movie.
It just seems like a weird commentary on Disney, but made by Disney. It made me feel weird. I just didn't know what they were getting at. And also Disney is getting more and more meta in their films, and they need to, bless you, they need to, like, tone it down a little, because it's kind of weird. I just watched a really good video that you hate about that.
Lindsay Ellis?
Lindsay Ellis. I love Lindsay Ellis. I watched her woke Disney video.
I'm not gonna say I hate her, but I've never liked a video from her.
Really? I like her videos. I think she's
I
great.
legitimately don't, like, hate her by any means. I just don't... Any video I've watched from her has been... I just find flaws with her arguments. Not her, like, conclusions, necessarily. Just her arguments.
Okay.
At least I haven't seen, like, every video, so it's probably not, like, all of them. Just, like, the handful that I have seen.
Yeah. I was just thinking about her video because, well, part of it's about Dumbo, but it's also just kind of about the whole meta trend in Disney, starting with, like, well, I don't know, really started with Enchanted, but, like, you know, Disney making fun of itself. And like you mentioned, the joke in The Lion King about It's a Small World, except they're just getting more and more overt and being like, here's this.
They're being more overt
wink.
because they realize that people like those jokes. So they're going to be into it.
I think, to quote 1941 Dumbo, if they laugh when he jumps 20 feet, they'll laugh more when he jumps 40 feet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Tone it down, Disney. They're not laughing that hard.
I'm laughing at a lot of it. Not this movie.
Not this movie. I didn't hate this movie as much as Jill did. I did find myself looking at how far I was into the movie several times. But I can't tell if that was because I did not like it very much or just because Dumbo 1941 was such a short and simple story that I was like, okay, it's almost over? No, it's not.
It just keeps going.
I didn't think it failed entirely as a movie.
No, I don't think so either.
Great.
As a movie, it didn't fail. I think it was just really poorly executed in a lot of ways.
One of the meta things that I did like that was just a little detail, like the Dumbo plushies for sale.
I didn't see those.
Oh.
That's great.
It was great.
Were they actually like 1941 Dumbos?
No, they just
sad.
looked like what you would actually buy at Disney World.
Yeah, so did they look like 1941 Disney?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
That
I thought
I
you
really-
meant did they look like they were made in 1941?
No, I meant did
was
they
like,
look
no,
like
they looked like Disney
they were
World.
designed after the 1941 Dumbo?
Yes, that's exactly
I
what they
appreciate
looked
that
like.
immensely. I'm sad I missed it.
Yeah, it was cute.
I won't be watching this movie again to find out.
No, but it was in Dreamland, and it was like all the kids rushing up to get their Dumbo plushies. I loved that.
Do you want to talk about characters or something I actually did like about the movie, which was the pink elephant scene?
Okay, we can talk about the pink elephant scene
Which
for
I
a minute
also
here.
didn't like. But I also did like it. It was a big mix.
It wasn't as artistic
feelings.
as the animated one, obviously, but
No.
it was artistic in a different
When
way.
it first started, I thought, oh, this is going to be really pretty and really cool. And then it kind of was, but they just kept cutting to Dumbo's face. I thought that was kind of dumb. And also was incredibly magical. And I don't mean it was great magical. I mean it was not possible physically. And that was never addressed. But then again, there's a giant eared elephant, so that's fine too.
It's the circus. It's magic. It's
But,
Dreamland.
Aside from Dumbo, everything in the circus is kind of like, your traditional circus.
Except that they didn't have lions or tigers.
Yeah, but it wasn't against the laws of physics. Except
Right.
for the flying elephant.
Right, sure.
But at first it was really pretty, and then it kind of wasn't as good as it could have been, which is this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the pink elephant scene. You can't help but compare it, and it's not as pretty
No.
or as weird and disturbing.
Yeah.
So
I think I also liked it because I kept noticing, I was comparing it to Greatest Showman, in that I kept noticing when they chose to use real people or real animals as opposed to definitely CGI ones. Granted, Greatest Showman is a better movie.
The Greatest Showman is the best circus movie.
Probably. I'm not going to disagree with that. But during, the horse scenes, it's a real horse. When it's the bubble scenes, at first it's real bubbles, and not, clearly animated horses that are weirdly going to the beat in a bad way.
I definitely should never tell people that I majored in film because I'm apparently immune to noticing CGI. I'm just like, and that's the bubbles. And it's not real, and sometimes there's animals, and they might be real, or they might not. It's magic! It's Disney magic! I just never,
in
pick
The
up on
Greatest
stuff
Showman,
like that.
I think it's most noticeable in the beginning song, there's horses, and they're, walking to the beat, but their legs are so high, and they're so, not weirdly animated, but it's just so clear they aren't real. And in this one, those are real horses.
Is that a good thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I like when they can make use of real things and make it look good.
I agree.
It usually turns out better.
I agree.
Not all the time, but
on
usually.
every aspect of that, not just animals. If you can do practical effects of any kind and build a real set and make things real and
You
film things on
probably
location and apparently it's cheaper than CGI, so probably not quicker, but
Sometimes it
stop
looks better.
CGIing things so much, please, everyone.
I mean, if you
please.
could do a good job, that's cool, but sometimes the practical side is just better.
It's better.
Sometimes.
It looks more convincing a lot of times, and it also just is... okay, I was gonna say more impressive, but CGI artists are amazing. It's impressive in a different way that I'm more into. Because I like when they can make something magical happen or make somewhere beautiful appear by using real things and real places.
I just don't want to be taken out of the experience by noticing something that's too blatantly not real.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I only notice CGI when it's really, really, really bad. Not that I don't know that things are CGI, but I only really focus on it when it's really bad. Or really good in the case of The Lion King, which we'll get to.
That's a later podcast.
Yeah, it is.
We were going to talk about the characters at one point. Do you want to just talk about the girl? Because she's, like, kind of the only character in this, but not in a good way.
I'm going to mention Colin Farrell's character real quick.
Go ahead.
He is supposed to be from Kentucky, according to one, like, quick line in the movie. And we're from Kentucky, and that's not how we talk.
No. I mean, granted, Kentucky is not a big state, but there are a bunch of different ways you can talk here.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's one of them.
I just thought it was funny when they said he was from Kentucky. I was like, oh, he's from Kentucky? That's a Kentucky accent?
I've never heard anyone talk like that in Kentucky.
Anyway, let's talk about the little girl, Millie.
She's annoying. Which is, I don't mean to say that, like, I don't want to be mean to this kid actor.
I don't think she's, like, a bad kid actor. It's literally, I think, her first role ever. On IMDb, I'm pretty sure that was the only thing she's credited for. And I didn't think she was terrible.
She was probably directed to act like she did.
Yeah, I just thought the character was annoying.
It was. Like, and there wasn't enough payoff for any of her science. Like, I don't mind a token science kid, but make use of it. Or make it not so annoying.
Like, I didn't even think she was that annoying overall. I just thought the character was slightly annoyingly written because it's the token science kid. That frustrates me so much when things seem very shoehorned in. Like, I'm all for little girls loving science, but the way it's written is always so much, I love science. I am so into science. And I know when kids are, like, fixated on a thing, they talk about it all the time. But in Disney movies, they don't seem like they're talking about it like kids do. They seem like they're talking about it like writers who want to get across that science is cool for girls to do.
For bad writers, because, like, she doesn't actually scream to me that she likes science. She looks like she's saying she likes science. Which is not good.
Yeah, and I really don't think it's, like, the little girl's acting or anything. I just think it was badly written.
It was either the directing or the writing. I'm not sure which. It just didn't... It's probably more the writing, because there just wasn't a lot for her to work with. Like, and also, I mean, tangential note that I had written was, it's 1919. I don't care if you don't want to work in the circus. You're a kid. You're going to do what your parents tell you to do.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't enough background for that for me to believe that she wouldn't be made to have some kind of impact on the circus.
Yeah, and
it's just child labor time.
True. And it did make her dad seem really mean and just like, oh, well, I'm not going to listen to you, which he needed to learn to deal with his children. But
he obviously had never raised a child.
No, it was clear that the mom did all the parenting. But just the little boy felt more like a real kid.
He did.
But
he also didn't make an impact on the movie.
No, he didn't. I thought he was a really sweet boy, but, like, he felt like a real kid. And poor Millie was just written as the poster child for girls in STEM. Even though in 1919 that's not even that realistic.
But it could have come across.
It could have been convincing.
Yeah, but
it just wasn't. And so it felt forced, like a lot of things in more recent Disney movies. It's kind of like the movie we don't talk about. No, that was in the less bad one. Pirates 5 also had the token science girl.
I haven't seen it.
And I can't remember if it paid off at all either. I think she invented something or did something. It's just like, it just seems so forced a lot of the times because it's not used enough to make sense for the story, and it just seems like addition to...
I guess kind of going to that topic of, like, a token thing being used or not used, I don't think anything that seems like a token has to be used in a movie for it to, like, be there to be there. But if it's gonna be there, it also can't be blatantly talked about as if it's an odd thing. Not so much for science, but his lack of arm. I think in a character without an arm could have been a cool character to either have more to do with his lack of arm or less to do. He just doesn't have one, and they don't stop looking at him like he's a freak. One or the other. Stop being in between.
Yeah. I thought that was odd, too, especially
because, like, almost none of this movie has anything to do with his lack of arm, but they do treat him weird. So stop it. Either, like, treat him like a normal person who doesn't have an arm, or make it a part of the story.
Yeah, I thought it was weird also that they did look at him weird because it's the circus.
That's a good point.
It's the freaking circus.
I didn't think about that angle, but I did, like, remember thinking when the dad first comes and the kids haven't, like, they're like, what, under 10?
Yeah.
Do you like, maybe it's realistic for a kid to pause and look at their strange dad that doesn't have an arm now. But if they haven't seen him in a long time, I feel like they would just straight up hug him regardless of what he looked like.
That's
they're
exactly
kids.
what I was thinking. Like, you would rush up to your dad and give him a hug.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be like, oh, I'm scared now. You have one less limb.
Like, maybe that's realistic, but I doesn't feel it.
I mean, they would be confused, but
Yeah.
not like...
I feel like they would have hugged him
hesitant.
and maybe looked at the arm afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like they would have looked at it, but not, like, paused and then had to
But
be coaxed
my
over
point
there.
being, there was a clear movie beat of he doesn't have an arm, and they make small like things about it through the movie, like giving him a prosthesis so he doesn't continue to look weird, even though they're a circus full of freaks, because that's what circuses were in 1919.
Yeah.
But there's no payoff at the end of the movie other than he has a robot arm because Science Girl.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe that's the payoff.
Like, that in itself is not all bad either, because if it had been like a more hokey movie, that would have been a fun, whimsical ending to it.
Yeah.
But
Did
it just
they
didn't
even-
have the right vibe.
Did they even have prosthetic arms like that in 1919? Like robot arms?
Well, nothing like that.
Yeah. I mean, which is fine, because it could be whimsical.
Yeah, but just the most... For a Tim Burton movie, I didn't get a lot of whimsy in this.
Yeah, it was very not Tim Burton for a Tim Burton movie. I was like, oh, Tim Burton doing a full-on circus movie. Because Big Fish is not a circus movie, it just has a very quick circus scene, because I rewatched the circus scene to compare because I thought it would be similar, and I'm like, oh, the circus part in Big Fish is not very long at all, actually. It's just a couple of scenes, but it was more whimsical than this. And I thought, oh, he's doing a full-on circus movie. It's going to be so whimsical and so grandiose and, like, weird and circus freaks and not that, you know, circus freaks, I don't know, that probably wouldn't land well. But, you know... It's Tim Burton, so I thought, like, some weirder stuff, but this is a very conventional movie.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. And going back to what you said about, like, having a token person of whatever kind of person, and they have to have a reason to be there, I agree with you that a lot of times they don't have to have a reason to be there, especially if it's, like, you know, a lot of people talk about, like, diversity and, like, a token... black guy or a token, you know, Indian girl or whatever, you know, like, that's obviously, it's just people and they should just be there. But if you're going to treat it like a story beat, and then it's not, yeah, I'm all for, like...
Yeah, that's my whole point.
And the arm thing, you're so right. They don't do anything with that, except having him climb that thing with one arm, which was very impossible looking. Not saying that that was them doing something with that. I was just like, how he gonna do that?
I mean, I could believe it. I also wasn't super paying attention to that scene because it was later in the movie. I was just having a hard time focusing.
You were just so done. Yeah, I mean...
I guess since I've been bashing on the movie, I can say something I did like, but which have been better still.
What?
Okay, so I did actually like the meaning behind the girl, like, saying the key from her mom. It's the same thing as Dumbo not needing the feather. Like, they don't need these things. And they can be, like, she can be a good person, or like, a cool person, and he can fly without the feather. That, as a scene, I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Did not have the right lead up, because I did not believe that Dumbo thought he needed the feather to fly. I thought he was an animal who was obsessed with a toy that would fly when he had it. Also, when he would suck up his trunk, it got old really fast, and I hated it.
Oh, okay.
Because, like, from the beginning of the movie, it was a game with the feather, and he would suck it up, and then he, like, sneezed or something, and he was flying. I never once got the vibe throughout any of the movie that Dumbo, like, other than they keep saying he won't fly without a feather.
Yeah.
I never got a vibe that he thought he needed the feather to fly.
Yeah,
He was just flying when he had a feather, and he seemed to really like feathers. So that scene with the key, unto itself, was really cool, but didn't seem like it came from anywhere of meaning.
I agree, because... Wait, no, was there a scene where he lost his feather and then he, like, freaked out and couldn't fly?
The one I'm remembering is he dropped it when he's on a giant, like, pedestal.
On the thing, yeah.
But at that point, he's also almost falling off.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're gonna freak out and try and, like, he's also, like, 2 months old. At no point am I thinking he can't think he can fly. He's just scared because he's a baby and he's about to fall off this tall thing. Like, maybe he doesn't
Yeah.
believe he can fly all the time, but I don't feel like the feather is what he's thinking is giving him the power to fly. At least, that's not what I got from the movie. Maybe I'm the only one.
Yeah, it wasn't...
Like, I'm aware from the original movie
Super...
that he thinks he needs the feather to fly, even though in that movie it wasn't a big deal either. It's in, like, one scene.
Yeah.
That was way less of a thing in the anime movie than I remember it being.
Mm-hmm. It definitely could have come across stronger about his motivation with the feather, because it was mostly a toy to him, and he just really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hate this movie as much as you did, but I feel like we haven't had anything good to say about it.
Well, that was a good thing. I liked the scene. I thought it was a really good scene.
Right.
It just didn't come from anywhere. I also did I liked that Dumbo got to be cool at the end. He got to, like, save the day.
Yeah.
I thought that was neat.
Yeah, I liked, and he was like, he could have gone, but he went back to save his friends.
Yeah, like, that was nice.
Dumbo was a sweet baby, and we love him.
Dumbo is perfect.
Perfect baby boy.
He's so...
little.
He looks so sad all the time, and I want to just
Hug
make him happy.
I want to give him hugs.
Yes.
He was a sweet baby elephant, and we love him. I like that it had a mischievous monkey in it. You probably hated the monkey.
I don't like monkeys.
Well, I do.
So you liked this movie. Ish.
Liked it. Ish.
What did you like about it?
I think as far as remakes go, it did the most improving on the original because it didn't have a lot to work with. I didn't hate the 1941 Dumbo. I hadn't seen it in a really long time. I barely remembered it. So watching it was almost like watching it for the first time. I just had absorbed the iconic parts, but I didn't actually remember the movie. Didn't hate it, didn't like it, didn't really care. I was very apathetic towards the animated Dumbo, much less so than most of the movies we've talked about. So I liked the remake more because it improved upon the animated one. Took out some of the bad things, added some kind of fun stuff, had Danny DeVito in it. I thought the performances were good. I liked Michael Keaton's evil Walt Disney. I thought he was really interesting and fun, and I like his accent kind of changing a little bit.
Didn't notice.
I felt like his accent
He came in the second half of the movie, so I
was
stopped.
different. Like when he was talking to Danny DeVito's character at first, and then when he was in Dreamland, it was just clear that he's like this deceitful, villainy guy, and I don't know, I think Michael Keaton's performance of that was a lot of fun. I liked some of the, like, musical nods to the original movie, like, in the score, and just, like, a character just singing a little bit of it. Like, Danny DeVito would just go around singing the Casey Jr. song under his breath, kind of. So I liked stuff about it, and there was some stuff I really liked, like the mermaid, and... Oh, so random thing about the end. So at the very end, Dumbo and his mom are set free and sent back to India, where they come from. And at the very end, I was like, Jungle Book crossover. Jungle Book crossover. Like, I went back and watched any elephant parts in the Jungle Book just to see if, like, that waterfall at the end is in it or something. I'm like, come on. It wasn't. I went back and watched the Jungle Book remake fully expecting to see just a brief shot of that waterfall that the elephants go to at the end of Dumbo. I really wanted it. That was my main letdown of this movie, that there was not a small nod to a Jungle Book crossover.
I mean, I guess we'll just go into, like, which one you like. Was that this one, which you like more?
I prefer the live action one, although the animation in the animated one is really cute for the animals and baby Dumbo and just adorableness. Also, the pink elephant scene is better in the animated one, but overall, even though it's just a strikingly mediocre movie, I still preferred the live-action one because it at least had a little bit more of a story. And usually when you can give me at least a little bit of a story, I'm more pleased than just, well, he flew, that's it, I guess.
I'm super conflicted about which one I like more, because the original, I haven't seen it in years, and I don't particularly care for it. I don't think it's bad, I just don't care about it at all.
Yeah.
And in the live action one, I'm conflicted because I think it sucks but it does try to do some interesting stuff with the movie. And it's not all bad, but a lot of it's really bad. If the original Dumbo is like a 0, this one's weirdly a -1, but it's trying so hard to be a 2.
Wow. What an assessment.
I guess I'm gonna have to choose the animated one, but it's not like a resounding I like this movie.
Yeah, I don't think the animated one is bad. I just think it's just not strong at all story-wise.
And I just don't think the live action one is strong in their execution of their story.
I don't think it's that good of... It's just... I feel like both movies are very middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
They're both just kind of like, well, that's a movie. That exists. I do like a lot of the things that the live action one was trying to maybe do, but I don't know if it ever got there. But I still liked it ish because
I think this is both of these are my least liked of any of the movie Disney remakes that we've seen, both in the podcast and that we've just happened to have already seen.
I feel like I liked it more before we started talking about it, but not like a lot more, because I do remember checking how much time was left several times. I was like excited to watch the remake of Dumbo because it was something I've never seen.
I'm so glad I didn't, because I was gonna see it in theaters.
Oh.
I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah. It's not bad. It was kind of a fun movie.
I would have felt like I wasted $12.
I think it's a good movie for kids.
Oh, I mean,
I think it's like...
That's the thing I was also thinking about in this movie, is that it definitely screams kids movie, which is not a bad thing.
No.
But if I've seen a bunch of, this is definitely for kids, that are way better than this movie.
Also, Disney is so good at making kids movies that appeal to every age group. And this one just wasn't strong enough in its writing to do that. So I think it's a really fun movie that kids would like and adults would get some chuckles out of.
That's another thing I was thinking about while watching this movie, is that, like, you can have the idea that, like, a movie can be better written to also appeal to adults. But I'm expecting more of my children's media for my non-existent children, that I want kids to watch good movies that also are able to appeal to them. Like, I don't want something that appeals to them is also kind of bad.
Yeah.
Like, there are movies that exist that are all around really good. Like, the story they put together is crafted well to be either a good message or just a good story and is, like, appealing. It doesn't have to, like, work at being appealing to adults if it's, like...
If it's good.
I just want it to be good from the get-go.
Yeah. Like, look at the entire Disney Renaissance. We're full-grown adults and we still adore those movies because they were good for anyone to watch.
Or Inside Out
or
is
Disney
just...
Now.
Inside Out is such a good movie that I feel like any kid should watch because it's good. Also, it's got a lot of good things for kids to experience. And a bunch of other kids' movies. That's just one of my favorites, so that's one I talked about.
Yeah, there are so many, like, Disney and Pixar and not Disney Pixar movies that are for kids, but they don't just appeal to kids because it's a good story and it's well told. And if something is like, kids would like that, then, like, I mean, that's good and all, but maybe it's not as strong as it could be if it only appeals to kids. And there's something to be said for making kids media that is for kids, but you can absolutely make something kids will enjoy immensely, and so will everyone else.
Yeah. And also, like, you don't have to even appeal to adults with your media. If it's strictly for kids, that's fine. Just that thing can be good.
Yeah.
I don't think this was good.
Yeah, it was okay. I think both versions of Dumbo were just like, it's okay.
Yeah. That's how I feel about Dumbo. Next on the podcast.
Next is Aladdin.
Oh, okay.
I'm excited to talk about that one because I had some opinions, and so did Jill.
Yeah. I mean, in the past we've on the podcast
down our opinions.
On past podcasts with the upcoming movie, we'd be like, oh, can't wait to hear us rip into the next movie. But then we actually rewatch it and we didn't hate as much as we remember.
It's definitely a first viewing thing where we really have some big opinions, and then on a second viewing, it's not so egregious slapping our face with changes. So we're like, I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah,
I think we both liked animated Aladdin a lot growing up.
So we'll probably watch it a lot sooner and not put it off like watching Dumbo took us so many months to do because we didn't really care about animated Dumbo.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's all we have for today. Catch us on the next podcast.
Yep, where we're going to talk about Aladdin.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.